Hey guys, Alex here, and I have some exciting news for you. If you guys have been using Cline, a Visual Studio Code extension that helps you code and is like a coding assistant, then you'll be happy to hear that version 3.0 just dropped. It brings with it a large array of changes that have been highly anticipated, including automatic approval of reading files and editing files. This new diff editing for large files, meaning that we won't lose code to truncated coding responses from the API, and a clinerules document. Clinerules document is something I've been highly anticipating, a feature that adds context to every API call. Now to get started, if you haven't got Cline installed, navigate to the extensions library in Visual Studio Code and search for Cline. Once you have the most recent version of Cline installed, you'll notice at the bottom an auto approval button where you can check these different options to auto approve. Now please have caution when checking these boxes. By clicking these, you allow Cline to change any file on your PC, so there is inherent risks involved. Personally, I will not use the auto approval in my daily Cline usage, but to showcase the power of using some of these options, we will be turning them all on and asking Cline to create a React app that creates timers for a task to-do list, essentially time boxing tasks on a to-do list. Now, with the auto approvals all enabled, we should see Cline be able to create that entire project from beginning to end with minimal amount of approvals required. Let us see how this API request is now being processed. The first npm install did still ask for approval, which is probably good because this is a more destructive behavior and requires approval before it can actually run. Now, with the npm running, we'll let Cline finish off the rest of the task, and here you can see it is making files for the app one by one without requesting any approval. So you can sit back, take a sip of your tea, and watch this app come to life. Essentially, multiple files were created and the app is now working, and that required only one approval. We will test the app now by creating this task and seeing if it creates a task with a timer attached to it. And yes, the task is on here and the timer is working as expected. So this is a great achievement for Cline. Now, another feature I told you I was very excited about was the clinerules file. This is something that has been available in both Cursor and Windsurf for a while and has been highly anticipated for Cline. Essentially, what this allows us to do is create context before every API request, meaning that no matter what task you put in, it should follow the clinerules document to a T first. And as you can see from this API response, it has read the MD file and will make a Cline changes log if there isn't one already, and add the changes from the new task into that log. And as you can see, it has in fact created that change log request, and you can see a small summary of the changes. This is great when you are prompt coding, so you can keep track of every single different change, especially if auto approvers are enabled and you don't know what Cline is doing if you're letting it do everything by itself. This is finally something that I'm super excited about, and Cline has now replaced Cursor for me.